have a tradition that every June and December, on the first Saturday of the month, I make a traditional dish for my country for my family and friends. Everyone loves it, and it's a family recipe. My youngest son has been married to Wendy for 3 years, together 1 year before. I didn't know her that well because they didn't live here. Wendy is a rising chef. In June, Wendy asked if she could help me make the dish, and I said yes. It was my biggest regret. She advised on all seasoning choices, and even though I said it was a family recipe, she kept giving her opinion. When that date passed, I made it clear that I would not like any more help, first and last time. She took it personally, and our relationship became uncomfortable. Last month, day 16, I received an invitation from my son and Wendy to go to their house because Wendy was going to make this dish. It was the first Sunday in December. To clarify, this dish is not something you can eat 2 days in a row, as it's heavy. Some sent me a message asking if mine would still happen. They know it's always the first Saturday, and I confirmed. On the 20th, I sent the formal invitation by message. My son called as soon as he received it, asking if it would be on the first Saturday, and I confirmed. And he started saying that people can't eat 2 days in a row, and if I couldn't leave it for another week, because Wendy wanted to do it to get closer to the family. I said no, as it's my tradition, and despite finding their choice of date unpleasant, I won't stop them, but I'll continue with the usual dates. He said I was making things uncomfortable, and a week later wouldn't bother me, and he used the coin that her invite was before. I was perplexed and said everyone knows it's the first Saturday of the month, including them, so I would keep all my plans the same. Things got uncomfortable, of course, but I kept it because it's something that just doesn't involve me. Friends and family already confirmed. There was a party on Saturday with family and friends. He and Wendy didn't come. And on Sunday, I didn't go because I worked that day. Many didn't come, and those who did, few ate the food because they couldn't eat it twice. During that week, my son sent a message asking if it was worth it to have done that and upset her because it spoiled this moment that she wanted to have with our family. He stressed that I could have been the best person, but I preferred not to be. I don't think this attack is fair, but I wanted an outside opinion. It is the best date for all my family and friends in December, for me too, as they get together before the usual festivities, a tradition that's been going on for 10 years. Am I the idiot? I don't mind her doing this. I encourage it, but I found the choice of dates peculiar, 6 months in the year and any weekend, and she chose the only weekend that I always do something to do the same. Not the idiot. It sounds like she took it personally when you didn't follow her professional opinion and wanted to upstage you on your own tradition. Your son owes you an apology, and you must make it clear to him that she's welcome to be a part of the family. However, she's not welcome to disrespect your family traditions and recipes just because of her profession. What is she playing at? She purposely chose a date to interfere with your long-standing tradition. She hijacked a tradition that you've been doing for years. That's a strange way to bond with your family. She could have started her own tradition at any other time if there were no prior plans. They knew what they were doing, so don't roll over for them. I really think she had no intention of bonding. That was just something to tell her boyfriend so he would think she was so sweet to want to become close with his family. No, this was her being petty that OP won't take her professional advice, and she wants to show how it's done properly. OP, your son is blinded and won't see his wife in her true light. It actually seems a little like an alienation attempt to get her husband to stop being so close to the family. Everything about this smacks of narcissism. My wife turned 30 this week. I'm a 26-year-old male. We've always had a strong relationship, and I love her so much. My wife has a best friend from childhood, Jimmy, 28 male. I didn't know him that well, but we've gotten to know each other and have gotten closer this year. He's my best bud and like an older brother to me in a lot of ways. My wife goes all out for my birthday parties, and I love them. However, she's more of a stoic introvert, so I thought it would be nice to throw her a surprise 30th birthday with just us and make it a special event. I wanted to make her a gift she would love. Jimmy's an incredible artist, and I've been taking lessons for the past 2 months. My wife was curious why I was spending so much time away from home with Jimmy, but I made vague excuses because I couldn't tell her that I was making a gift for her. She's made a couple of comments, but never seemed upset. I told her a week before her birthday that I had made plans with Jimmy. I have a job with flexible hours, so it's common for me to do it. She wasn't upset or anything. When her birthday came, it was all I could do not to say anything. When she left for work, I put my plan into action. I decorated the place. I brought out the cake. I learned from YouTube and stored it at our friend's house. I got a dozen bouquet of flowers. I got her a few other gifts too. She was supposed to come home at 5:30, but she didn't come. I waited hours for her, but she didn't come home. I called Jimmy and he said he hadn't seen her. I called her and she didn't pick up. I checked her location and she was at a restaurant. I went to the restaurant and she was there with her friends. They were eating a birthday cake and she had presents. I had never met these friends of hers before. They're from her work. She seemed sad. She wasn't smiling or energetic. I wanted to take her home and show her my gift so she would be happy. I came over to her and told her she had to come home. We grabbed her things and left. On the Uber back, she didn't say anything. At home, she started crying. She's been sleeping on the couch and she avoids me. My wife hasn't talked to Jimmy either. I told my mom and she called me an idiot. I don't know why. Am I the idiot? Edit. I didn't tell her about the surprise, nor did I give her the gift. I wanted to get her in a better mood. She let me cuddle up to her in an Uber. She saw the decorations and the bouquets, but she still cried. It was almost a week ago and she's still avoiding me. You are the idiot. You didn't use the critical piece of surprise party planning where you have her home at a certain time for a good reason. You just made it look like you were blowing her off and she made other plans. You honestly just made it look like you remembered her birthday at the last minute and went overboard to try and make up for it. And instead of apologizing, you forced her to appreciate your thoughtfulness. Not to mention her work friends, who probably already thought OP was an idiot for not making plans for her birthday, so they take her out to cheer her up. And then OP tracks her location, hunts her down in a restaurant, and demands she leaves with him in front of all of her friends. So now they think he's a controlling idiot. If I was her, I'd be ashamed and worried that my friends were questioning if my husband was abusive. Ugh, it's been a week, and he still hasn't shown or given her the gifts and birthday surprise. Instead, he tore her away from her birthday dinner and friends to bring her home to a quiet, empty, birthdayless house. I'm convinced OP took her away from the party to punish her for having the audacity to celebrate her birthday outside of him, and is furthering his punishment by withholding the only good thing he did in this post. He turned her birthday into a "look how great I am" event after ignoring her and sneaking around for months. This woman thought OP was having an affair, but in the end, it was just a crappy, selfish dinner that also kept her away from all of her friends. Poor thing. The surprise wasn't for her. It was about you. First, you made her feel like crap for weeks. Then on her birthday, made her feel even worse. My wife is pretty angry at me right now, so we had to move in with my mother and her husband due to some financial setbacks. I really don't need a judgment for this. I feel like crap, but it was the most logical solution, and living here hasn't been too bad. My wife came to me concerned about a week ago and said she wanted to get a hotel to spend Christmas, or at least Christmas morning in. We have to cut back financially, and our children will receive very modest gifts this year. She feels bad that there won't be much for them and doesn't want them to wake up at my mom's house and see the pile of gifts under the tree that aren't for them. I gently explained that hotels cost a lot of money, especially for Christmas. We've been saving and doing so well, and I really don't want to spend the money. She even said we could come back and make Christmas dinner with my family, but she just doesn't want the kids there in the morning. I explained that I feel like this is ultimately unhealthy, and we can't shield them from reality, and Christmas shouldn't be about gifts. Here's where I might be the idiot. My wife brought it up again in front of my mom, and my mom chimed in about how nice it would be for her and that she would love to have Christmas alone with her husband. I immediately felt mortified because I didn't want to be somewhere I wasn't wanted. My mom has also done a lot for us and doesn't ask for anything in return, so I felt even worse that she just wanted to be alone on Christmas morning. I told my wife in private that I would consider it, and she blew up. She said it made her feel like crap that I would do it for my mom and not her, and that I'm being cheap and a mama's boy, and we shouldn't be spending money to make my mom happy. Am I the idiot? Why is the internet filled with a plethora of mama's boys who think they aren't the idiot? You are the idiot. If you're able to do it because your mom feels bad, you're also able to do it because your wife feels bad and because it would be better for your kids. It's not that you literally couldn't afford it. You just didn't prioritize her or them. Also, gently explained sounds somewhat condescending. She's an adult. She knows hotels cost money, and she's not suggesting anything ridiculous. Get a hotel room, apologize to your wife, and make Christmas magic, especially by booking a hotel with an indoor pool. The kids will be thrilled. Disagree. OP, his wife, and his kids are in a tough spot financially. A hotel on Christmas is probably going to cost hundreds of dollars. The wife didn't say she needed space. She said that the kids might feel bad seeing OP's mom's Christmas when their gifts are modest. If the wife thinks there's room in the budget for a hotel, then surely it would make more sense just to put that money towards more gifts for the kids. In conclusion, not the idiot. It's a difficult situation, and if the wife can't grasp that, she better find a partner who's supportive enough in times of need. Agree. You guys are in a financial crisis and are technically homeless. A hotel on Christmas isn't a necessity. This ideology that everyone deserves an amazing Christmas is why so many people are crippled with debt. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions in your family's best interest. I live with 3 other people, and we all split the rent evenly on the 4-bedroom house. We live in a low cost of living area, but pretty much all of us are minimum wage earners, so we can't live by ourselves. My roommate Trent told us he was autistic when he moved in. We asked him if we should know anything about his condition to make sure he was okay, and he said not to engage with him unless he initiated it. He likes wearing his AirPods a lot, and when he's at home, he's glued to his phone or his iPad with his buds in. If we have to talk to him about anything, we normally have to wait until he gets off his tech, so we normally just leave a note on the kitchen bench. Once we interrupted when we were ordering Uber Eats, and he seemed okay once he realized it was about takeout. He pays the rent on time and cleans up after himself, so it's no big deal. We all do our own thing. Anyways, he was walking slowly towards the door one day, glued to his phone, had his AirPods in, and just stopped in the middle of the doorway. I wanted to get by him because I needed to head to work, and I waited about 30 seconds with no sign he was moving. Finally, I put my hand on his forearm and said, "Hey, sorry, I need to get by." He turned around and looked at me and just blew up and went on like a minute about how dare I touch him. A lot of comments about me being overweight, and that's why I couldn't get past him, and how I made him dirty by just touching him. I just blinked and said, "Look, just get out of the doorway. I have to go to work." Anyway, I was really surprised about how angry he was, but many of his comments seemed to be about me being a big woman, and someone like me shouldn't be touching someone like him. He moved and I got by and just got on with my day. So it seems he complained to my other roomies about it. One is saying that I'm wrong. I should have just waved my hands in front of the phone so he knew I was there. It didn't occur to me to do this, to be honest, but I don't think I'm an idiot for not thinking of this. The other is saying Trent is being a bit precious about it all and probably wouldn't have been so snotty if I had been a VS model. LOL. It's no big deal for me emotionally. It's gonna blow over. But am I the idiot for touching him to get him to move? Not the idiot, but Trent is. Autism isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card for being a total idiot. I wouldn't feel comfortable living with someone who blew up at me and called me a fat cow. I don't know how bothered you are about it, but I'd either be looking to replace him next time you sign the lease or move out. Wow, what a shock. Another person is using their identity to be an idiot without a care for how much harder it makes life for people experiencing genuine difficulty. Next time, grab a broom handle and just poke him in the back. hard. At least you're not touching him. It baffles me that everything is back to normal after he called you fat and dirty because you couldn't get past his inconsiderate idiot. I don't care if he is autistic. It's not an excuse to be so disgustingly rude to a friend. If anything makes you an idiot, it's letting him get away with that. It's really crappy that you've normalized being disrespected in such a dehumanizing manner. My daughter, a young child, just had her birthday party today. There's a little girl with special needs in the class, and according to school policy, we had to invite the entire class, including the special needs girl. My daughter isn't friends with her, so there isn't a reason for her to be invited or have to come. Not only did we invite this kid, but my wife also called her mom and found out what toys she liked and made sure to have them at the party for her. She also put together a separate meal for the girl and set up our guest room for her and her mom in case she gets overwhelmed. In my opinion, if we have to invite her, we'll invite her, but there's no need to make this one little girl special and the center of attention. She had her own toys, her own food, and a different costume. It was a princess party, and everyone was a princess or prince, except for the special needs kid, who was a unicorn. After the party, I told my wife that I didn't like that she went out of her way to make another little girl the center of attention at our daughter's birthday party. My wife got defensive and said she was just trying to be inclusive and accommodating to the little girl and her needs. But now she's talking about play dates, and after the party BS, it looks like my daughter's always going to come in second to someone else's kid. I told my wife I didn't want her to force our daughter to spend time with this girl just to make the special one the center of attention, and she called me an idiot. I'm currently sleeping in the guest room, and she's setting up a play date for the girls this week. Am I the idiot for wanting my daughter's events to be about her and not some random kid? You are the idiot. Not once did you mention your daughter's feelings or reaction in all of this. You don't actually care about putting her first. You just don't want to accommodate a special needs kid. You're grouchy because you must be nice to a young child. That is about as idiot as you can get, dude. Also, the little girl wasn't made the center of attention. Her needs were accommodated because she's human. Just like we give access to a bathroom for those with bladders, we accommodate those with special needs because they're human. And also, those accommodations would likely prevent a flare-up or meltdown that would distract from your daughter's birthday. My goodness, if I were having a princess party and a unicorn showed up, I'd be over the moon. How did you type this out and think that you're right? Is this what the world is coming to? You're teaching your daughter it's all about me. Did you ever consider that your wife and daughter might like this other little girl? Or do you think she's an unlikable monster because of her random differences? Royal idiot, you should be ashamed of your ignorance. That school policy, though, requiring kids to invite the whole class is a bad idea. Kids are allowed to pick and choose friends. What if a child is forced to invite their bully? I don't think you're the idiot for wanting your daughter to have a day centered around her and celebrating her birth. People are too afraid of hurting other people's feelings nowadays, which is a problem.